What is up, my fellow HHN obsessies, and welcome to the HHN Obsession Podcast, where we talk about all things HHN and obsess together over this amazing event. I am your host, JJ, and with me, as always, the co-ghost, James.
Ooh, co-ghost James. What's up?
What is up with you, man? It's been a while. It's been way too long since our last episode.
It's been ages.
A month, to be exact. And, dude, I am so eager to get back on this mic and talk about so many things that have happened since the last time we recorded. There's just so much. This episode's going to be so long. I'm afraid that we're going to miss something. I know by the time we finish this, I'm going to be like, oh, I forgot this, and that. It's just there's a lot, man. There's so much. It's time to play catch up.
I agree. And before I forget, if I can just speed run Ghost of the Day, because the last time we were going to record, it was little Emily's birthday. So happy birthday, Emily. And today, it's a weird combo. Anthony Anderson of Kangaroo Jack lore. Did I say that? Anthony Anderson.
God.
Happy birthday. And also, this is weird. Jennifer Lawrence. Happy birthday, Jennifer Lawrence. Ghost of the Day. All right, hey.
I still don't understand why they're ghosts, why they're dead on their birthdays, but
We're all ghosts. We just got the candy coat sometimes.
it goes
away.
We're just ghosts in suits.
Yeah, we're all the peanut. We all got the peanut. Oh, except maybe M&Ms don't got peanut sometimes. It fell apart. Never mind.
Well, man, first off, I just want to say that I am getting off some kind of flu or bug right now, so if my voice sounds a little messed up or my voice cracks throughout this, I apologize. Hopefully, I won't be coughing up a storm throughout this recording, so just bear with me on that part.
Well, hopefully whatever you got flew away. So
we're starting early. All right. So what this episode is going to be, it's basically going to be just a full-on guide to HHN33, where we're going to go over all the previous houses that we talked about, all the previous houses that have been announced, plus the 10th house that was announced since the last time that we recorded. We have not yet talked about that. And also, all the scare zones have been announced, as well as the show and a couple other little things here and there. We're going to just talk about the whole event. And for everybody listening, we are not going to be spoiling. There's not going to be any major spoilers. I don't know what to call that. No major spoils going on here. There might be some minor ones here and there, but it's nothing too crazy that hasn't been talked about. What we're for sure not going to be talking about is the USA Today Slaughter Sinema 2 article that was released last week.
Shame.
I kind of didn't even look at that whole thing, and because I didn't want to know. But there was very specific details put into that article about that house, including pictures. So we won't be going into that article at all. So
how dare they?
So nothing crazy like that.
How dare they poach the update wagon? How dare they?
What does that
Shame.
mean? What does that mean? What do you mean?
They didn't they throw off the 33 schedule? They were like posting at 33 all the time, and then here comes a deadline.
Oh, that was before. This is USA Today now.
Oh well, shame again. I don't know why yet. I mixed up my news guys. Okay. I'm so mad.
So, for everybody that is going to listen to this, just know no major spoilers, but maybe some minor little detail stuff about maybe some scare zones and things like that. But if you want to know zero, absolutely nothing going into the event, I would recommend you skip this episode for now. But yeah, this is the guide episode, and we're also going to be adding a little extra spice to the episode. We have a couple of HHN33 songs to share with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to View from the Cheap Seats. He has a YouTube channel where he vlogs the parks, vlogs Halloween Horror Nights. I basically been watching him since the very first year we started attending. He's one of my go-tos for Halloween Horror Nights content and just Universal Studios content in general. But a while back in like May, I believe it was, he put out a vlog where he basically got on this app and told the app that he wanted a Halloween Horror Nights song. And I thought that was so cool. I had to try it for myself. And let me tell all of you, the results were very satisfying. And I can't wait to show you these songs. Basically, I put in, I want a song about Halloween Horror Nights 33, put all the haunted house names. Didn't know the Scare Zone names at the time I made these two songs, but somehow these songs are rockin'. So what we're going to do, we'll play one of them halfway through the episode, and then we're going to play the second one, which is my favorite, at the very end as we end the episode. So
Ooh,
be
halfway,
sure.
like intermission style, huh?
Exactly.
All right.
Let's all go to the lobby. So, yes, so just stay tuned for those because we're going to be playing those songs for you. So that's a first for us. So, starting off, since this is the guide episode, I realized that we have never talked about all season about the event guides of the park, like the park maps, like the paper maps. So, back in like November or December, they announced that they were going to stop making paper maps for the park. And that is an absolute travesty in my opinion, because I'm a collector of all the HHN park maps. I have almost the entire collection of them. I'm only missing years 1 through 4 and year 6. And I have all the other park maps. I've collected them, eBay, of course, because I haven't been going that long. But
oh, dude, you got so many of those little paper pamphlets, bro. Sure.
Oh gosh,
bro, for sure you got so many
for
pamphlets.
sure,
bro. Sure. Hey, all right. Pretty good,
dude. You're gonna make all the new people leave. Okay, but
it's true though. Your collection's pretty good.
Oh man, I'm so proud of it. But those ones that are missing, my OCD is just crazy about it, and it just sucks I can never find them. But
yeah, that hurts. It's like an open sore.
But anyway, my OCD is going to be even worse now because there is a very, very high possibility that we're not getting HHN physical maps anymore. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that they'll still have it for HHN. And even if it's not the free ones, like make one that you can buy for a couple bucks or $5 or whatever. Like make a high quality one that it's like a souvenir or something.
Because you got it, I will.
Like you're gonna make it?
Yeah, because once they put it out, or once they stop it, who's gonna take up the mantle? Us. We'll do it. We'll sell a little pamphlet. We got it.
I mean, that's true. We could make our own.
That's pretty fun.
Those things are such great souvenirs because it shows what the event was for that specific year, and it says all the details about each house and everything. So it's always a cool thing to bring home and to go back and look at to have like a memory of certain things. So
it's a pretty little time capsule. That's where it is. It's nice to look at, nice to smell.
To smell, dude. God,
nice to inhale for its given life.
Oh, I mean, man.
Those can only give off particles for so long before it deteriorates, just like all of us.
Those old ones are going to be stinky. So yeah, event maps. I really hope they show up to the event again. Probably not, though. It's unfortunate, but I just wanted to bring that up since this is the event guide. So we're making our own event guide, I guess. So real quick, if you do enjoy the episode that we are doing or any of the episodes we do, please follow us on social media. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads at HHN Obsession, and please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anywhere you can leave us a review. It's very much appreciated, and it really helps us with the algorithms and stuff like that. So If you enjoy the episode, please help us out. So before we start going through all the park stuff, I want to talk about tickets real quick. So everybody knows, or if you've been following along, either our podcast or just the community in general, everyone knows that those multi-night express passes sold out within hours of the drop. And to this day, as of this recording, they are still sold out. There is hope that they will be released again once Rush of Fear is over after the first 3 weeks. Nobody knows for sure, but that is still available actually. Rush of Fear with Express is still online. Like you could still get the first 3 weeks with Express. And that's the cheapest option, honestly. Which is weird to me because last year that was the most busiest time. It was insane crowds because everybody went for the cheap route and then wanted to upgrade later. But yet they still have these ones open this year. I don't know what the deal is with that. So yes, the very first tier of multi-night tickets with Express is still available. However, all the other tiers do not have Express. You can buy all the tiers without Express still. That's still a thing. So if you want to enjoy the event for multi-nights, you could still get those as of now. They did sell out at the end of September last year, so just beware of that. And yes, I do want to talk about the food preview because it is still on sale.
All right.
We are August 15th as of this recording, and we've talked about this before. It's either nobody wants to pay the $350 or whatever it is to do this because they would rather do the whole event, save some money, or they're saying that it's a low capacity when it's really not, or they're making it sound like it's this much people but it's really a little bit higher than everybody thinks. I don't know. Like when that day comes, which is 14 days away, exactly 2 weeks from this recording, on that day, there's either going to be very low crowds and people are going to have an absolute blast, or it's going to be, overcrowded, more crowded than people thought it was going to be, and people are going to be upset. I don't know. It's very weird to me that those tickets are still on sale. But if anybody is listening and you're kind of debating to do it or not, it sounds like a cool deal. Like you get a low capacity event, you get to be sent into the houses in groups, so no conga line deal, and you get all you can eat food, which from what it looks like is limited food. And we're going to talk about those options because they did release a couple of options that they're going to be giving at this food event.
When you say limited, are you talking about option wise, or like
it's all you can eat?
Only get
it's all you can eat.
Get seconds maybe,
but it's limited options, is what it looks like. I'm not positive on that, but it seems like the options are limited.
Well, I'm feeling more positive about that. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. So that's the early premium night thing, right? Mm-hmm. So with that said, I wanted to bring something up that's happening at a different park across the pond. Universal Studios Japan announced something pretty wild that I think would do great in Orlando. I think it would do better than this early Scream preview thing that they're doing. So Japan, at their Halloween Horror Nights, they are doing an all-nighter Halloween Horror Nights night. One
like
single, pretty much, yeah. Instead of starting at the usual 6, 7 p.m., whatever, they're going to start at 10 p.m. and go all the way to 5 in the morning.
Huh.
And to me, I think people would be all over that, to just be at Horror Nights all night long until the sun is almost rising. That sounds awesome. Like I think more people would go for that than go for the actual preview thing. But that's just me. But I just thought that was a really cool thing that they were doing over there, and I think Orlando should take notes on that, because that would be something I think successful over here.
And when you said across the pond, I was like, which pond? because
Yeah,
it's like, oh, the other direction, the other pond.
I was
That's
debating
pretty
on
cool.
saying pond because everybody thinks of the UK or whatever, but
Well, hey, there's water there too. It's another pond.
yeah.
Cool.
Uh, Another news update about one of the across the pond parks is Universal Studios Beijing, which is the
Oh,
newest Universal park that just opened a couple years ago, is having their first Halloween Horror Nights this year.
ooh,
But they're not calling it Halloween Horror Nights. It's very weird. So they are calling their event Scares at Universal.
scares. All right.
So
Scares at Universal.
to be fair, the first event of Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando was not called Halloween Horror Nights. It was called Fright Nights, and they changed the name the second year. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't know. Maybe this just they don't celebrate Halloween over there in China. I have no idea how that works over there, but they only have 3 haunted houses for their first year and 2 scare zones. So it's a rather smaller event. The really cool part, though, is they have an icon. Guess who?
Guess Who? Is that a hint? Is it like the Guess Who board game? Hold on. Or is it like Guess? Like, is it Chucky? Does he say Guess
It
Who?
rhymes with Crack the Brown.
No way. Jack the.
Woo! Jack the Clown is heading to Universal Studios Beijing along with his loving girlfriend, Chance.
Oh, the two of them. Hey, and I was gonna say it's in its infancy. Man, they're gonna go. They're gonna play mommy and daddy, huh?
Oh yeah,
They're gonna raise up the new generation. Interesting.
it's actually kind of cool because the marketing they use in Beijing, they use James Keaton, the guy who plays Jack in Orlando, and it's like a newer photo of him, like he's wearing a whole new costume uniform.
Whoa.
But Chance is a different actress, but their promo or their artwork is James Keaton. It's kind of cool. I don't think he's going over there, but I think they're just using him in marketing.
Well, that's cool. He's reprising his role in a very unexpected place.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Maybe one day.
Very cool.
Maybe one day we'll make it out to one of those events. All right, so that is just a couple of off-topic things that I just wanted to discuss before we went into the actual guide. We'll go ahead and move on to Orlando, the main event here. And I just want to say that my goal with this episode is to not show off any kind of hype as we go through these houses or scare zones. Like, I'm going to try to show no emotion to how I feel about it, because the next episode we are going to be doing a hype list episode. So don't want to give away any spoilers for that stuff.
Watch this. In the Halloween.
When I said
Halloween Horror Nights.
James, when I said we were going to show our audience HHN songs, this is not what I meant.
Oh yeah, keep it exclusive again. Patreon exclusive. We keep teasing it.
All right, so let's do this. I think let's just do our normal routine where we're just going to go around the park, talk about everything that's at the event. So first off, I want to talk about just the crazy announcement craziness that happened in between the last time we recorded. The original plan that they were apparently going to do was they were going to do what they did with the original houses. They were going to announce all 5 scare zones and the show within the 5-day span daily. What ended up happening was they announced the first 2 scare zones on Monday and Tuesday. But after the first announcement on that Monday, there was a leak from an employee website, I believe. And this employee website, so it is public for everybody to see. It was like a whole announcement bulletin for the employees, and it had all the scare zone names, the show name, all that stuff. And of course, the HHN fans, being HHN fans, they found it immediately and it went viral, and then it was immediately taken down on that employee website. So
I'm picturing Ryan Reynolds holding the Green Lantern script. Immediately taken down.
The next day, they announced a second zone. After that, Nothing. Wednesday was nothing. So the theory is that because of that leak, it stopped the announcements. It made the announcements just random, because Wednesday and Thursday there was absolutely nothing, and then randomly on Friday came along. Halloween Nightmare Fuel was announced, which everybody knew that was coming. Next week comes along, or the second week after that, and there was nothing Monday, nothing Tuesday. It was 2 zones announced on Wednesday. And then Thursday was the 10th house announcement. The 5th scare zone was also leaked a second time. So it was probably going to be announced that Friday. But of course, they're building all the sets in the streets right now for the scare zones. Well,
I know I feel ghosted.
they built a gigantic logo of what the scare zone is before it was even announced. It was just there. And of course, the community went wild. They posted it all over the place. Guess what happened? Within an hour or two, they covered it with a tarp. Oh, you didn't see anything. What? Oh, there was nothing there. What are you talking about?
I thought the Jedi mind tricks were at Disney. Come on.
So on that Friday, they did a tease, right? They teased the name of it, but they didn't give details. And it was like randomly at 8 p.m. or something, like at night. I guess they were like scrambling to figure out, okay, should we announce it now? What should we do? It was spoiled again. Like, not only was the name spoiled in the employee thing,
were they gonna last minute spray paint like a change?
The gigantic logo was put up. And then the next day, once they did that preview or that tease announcement, they uncovered the logo again. Very weird announcement season. I just can't.
What if it was a magic act? Like, y'all, you didn't see it, and then it's completely what? Completely. Oh man, they played into like
you are giving Universal too much credit, man. Like, literally, they are the worst at keeping secrets, man. Like,
well, maybe someday they'll take that to their advantage and they'll play off the expectations. I mean, they've sometimes played with that. You know, they keep taunting us with these announcements. I want to give them some credit sometimes. I want to leave them unpredictable. It's funner that way.
It was just chaotic. And I also didn't mention that the reason why we took so long to record is because we were waiting for the big drop to happen. Usually, once toward this time of the year, right before the event, they drop a big media press release that has detailed information about the houses. So yes, we've already got little tiny descriptions of each house, but this press release usually has like more detailed descriptions on the houses. It usually has the information about the special bars they're going to have. It will have a little bit of the food and the drinks sometimes. It has not happened. Last year it happened on July 28th and it still has not happened. But that's what we were waiting for. That's why we took so long to record another episode, because we wanted that to drop before we recorded this. But we just could not wait anymore because we were literally 2 weeks away and we just couldn't do it. So again, announcement season this year is just off the walls weird. So,
dude, I was sitting there twice ready to record with my little pinwheel and my pizza fries. I had my little pinwheel hat. I was sitting there like at the bus stop, forgotten like a little kid.
Oh my God.
I was ready to go. I was ready.
Oh, dude.
I'm a lost puppy right now. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, man, I'm just impressed you made your own pizza fries. Good for you, man.
That wasn't the hard part.
Let's get this guide going, because we have been talking for way too long, and this is going to be a long episode. Let's enter the gates for the first time for Halloween Horror Nights 33, and of course we're going to come to our very first scare zone, Duality of Fear, and this is the Icon Zone.
Wait, does that mean the icon is known? Do we know the icon?
Sort of.
Dude, I'm about to be that ant that you pick up and like zoom to the front of the line. I'm going to be like overwhelmed right now. This is what I aim for.
Yep. All right, so this is
Yeah.
the description of Duality of Fear. As soon as you enter Halloween Horror Nights, you must choose a path. The visceral horror of sinister and the unearthly terror of surreal. So, our icon is female this year, and no one knows for sure exactly what the icon is technically, but we do know that she has split personalities. She has surreal and sinister. So it's a two-face icon.
Uh,
And guess what they did to the sinister and surreal spelling? They replaced the E in each with a 3. 33.
hey, someone's listening. Someone is hearing. It's getting in there. Oh, was that me? Did I do that? You're welcome. I
So
don't know.
the E in sinister is a 3, and the E in surreal is
Woo!
a 3. So
Yeah.
33. The icon is technically 33 because it has two personalities, has the 3 and the 3. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. So here's the other cool part. You choose your path in this scare zone. You either go for sinister or you go for surreal. And
Oh,
each direction is going to take you to another zone. And those zones will be a sinister zone or a surreal zone.
is that within the same zone, or are those two additional zones? Is it
Two
like
two addition
zone and then
two additional zones. So it's just you're going to choose
so
the
that's
path.
three of that's that's 1, 2, 3 zones out of all the zones, right?
Yes.
Or is it like a
So
split zone?
so not Oddfellow level where pretty much all the zones were connected to Oddfellow this year.
There's
Technically
three.
there's 3.
I like it. 3.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
exactly. So yeah, you get to choose your path, who you want to go for, surreal or sinister. When I first read this description, my thought process was it was going to be a bigger scare zone than last year. Like you would go straight toward Minion Land, and there would be more zone there, either sinister or surreal on that side, or you would take the right and go toward Hollywood, and that would be its own little section. But no, I think it's going to be the same size as last year. It's just you're going to take your specific path of where you want to go. Again, there's not a whole lot known about this icon yet, which is another weird thing because that's where the press release or, another teaser video would help in this situation. But we just do not have that info, 14 days away from the event. It's wild. And, maybe they just want us to go into Horror Nights not knowing things and be surprised.
Maybe this is damage control for the missing of the 2 3s, you know? They're like going hard on there's 3, a trifecta of houses. You got the triplets. You got all these things because they missed. Probably someone had my same idea and they missed the deadline by 5 minutes. And they're like shooting themselves in the foot and they're making up for it by all of these special little 3 things. And Numberphile has this thing. There's this thing called Tree 3, and it's an insane number where it's like mathematically it's 1, 2, and then it bounces past the event horizon, past the end of time, past the reset of time. It's just a very long thing, and it can be extrapolated times like multiple lifetimes of our universe's lifespan. So Tree 3 is a big number, but I feel like it could be damage control is what they're doing.
Well, 33 or threes. I'm not really very knowledgeable on religion, but I'm pretty sure threes have a lot to do with
Right, the Trinity, right?
with yeah,
Holy Trinity.
like there's something to do with that and how they could incorporate that with demons and stuff. I'm pretty sure. But
Yeah, and then there's the whole thing. I don't really follow it, but angel numbers, repeating numbers in 2s or 3s,
oh yeah,
stuff
so
like
so
that.
technically 33 is an angel number, but fallen
Yeah,
angels.
a lot of weird number stuff to play with, and like with the Halloween crowd, there's witches and Wiccans and whatever else.
Oh,
It's fun to
oh,
play with that like geometric stuff. I don't know.
do you know what I just remembered?
What's up?
Otis, man.
Oh,
If you look at his eyeball is two threes. It's two threes put together, man.
no way.
Dude, yeah, you gotta look at it. It's two. It's almost like an infinity symbol, but it's like two threes put together.
Are you just saying like it's a double iris so that like It's
Yeah.
like back-to-back 3 is like an 8, so there's 2 circles, you know? Because I saw something with a split iris somewhere else. I know Mummy did it, you know, the new Mummy. I believe it was.
So if there is anybody that doesn't know who Otis is, basically that's something that the Twitter account named the promotional image of the demonic arches, which we still don't know how that connects. We don't know if that's Sinister and Surreal's world, which it probably is. That's like probably their realm. And again, apparently the icon is not Sinister and Surreal. Like there is a specific being that they are a part of. So here's what I think we should do. I think we should take a right, go counterclockwise to the scare zone, but then backtrack because it is related to this zone. I think we should talk about them together. That makes sense?
Okay. Yeah, I think so. It matters the order. So yeah.
So we're going to move on to the Hollywood scare zone. Again, this is going to be connected to the front zone, and this will be the zone for surreal.
Demon Queens. Get caught in an otherworldly hellscape ripped from the darkest corners of your mind, where 4 merciless queens loyal to surreal rule, with a 3 for an E. Surreal.
So yeah, we got Demon Queens. I love the artwork for this, by the way, and it looks very like space-like, spacey.
Yeah,
I'm into
maybe
it.
astrology. I don't know. Witches and stars.
Again, more girl power this year. There's going to be 4 queens, I believe. Yeah, okay, so there is 4 queens, and then there's going to be surreal in the scare zone. Here is some artwork that was released at a UK press event.
Yeah, I see the colors.
Yeah, they're all like color coded. It's almost going to be like the HHN Power Rangers, I guess. But no, they don't look anything like Power Rangers. But the designs look amazing. I bet you these costumes in person are going to be insane.
Oh yeah, to the thread.
I'm looking forward to it. So that's Demon Queens. Let's backtrack back toward Duality of Fear, which, by the way, that's the artwork for Duality of Fear.
The sultry and surreal or
surreal and sinister.
Yeah, something like that. I'll get it. I'm new to it. I just heard it.
All right. So as we backtrack to Duality of Fear, we're gonna go up toward the Minion Land, and in between the Universal Studios store and Minion Mayhem is going to be the first house entrance, and this is where the entrance is supposedly going to be for Monstruos, the monsters of Latin America.
I think you gotta say it like Okur. How do they do it? Okur.
No, I think
Monstros.
No. I think it needs to be said like monstros, like Krampus.
Like stay thirsty, my friends.
Monstros.
Monstros. Stay thirsty.
Monstros, the monsters of Latin America. With La Muerte as your guide, you will be asking for mercy from these 3 terrifying monsters: the blood-sucking De La Puichi, owl-faced witch La Lechuza, and bone-ripping El Selbon. Again, all these haunted houses, we did cover them in individual episodes, and we went into detail about these 3 urban legends in that episode, so definitely go back and check that out. Also, Universal has released their own official podcast for this, where basically they are kind of reading you a story about this house, kind of giving you a backstory to know when you go into this house. And it's a very very interesting podcast to listen to. I highly recommend that one specifically. Next one supposedly is going to be A Quiet Place, and that is going to be in the big kind of courtyard right in front of the big stage, kind of where Rip Ride Rocket is.
Silencio, Bruno. Oh, wrong park. What do we got? A Quiet Place. Silence your screams if you want to survive this terrifying post-apocalyptic world based on the films A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2. Like the Abbott family, you must keep quiet as you travel from the farmhouse to the woods to the foundry. As soon as you make a sound, monstrous creatures who can hear the slightest noise will hunt you down and silence you for good. Let's just call them what they are. They're the earclops. We know this.
So there has been a podcast released by Universal since we've recorded, and this one was more of one of the directors of Halloween Horror Nights talking about some of the house. Again, we're not going to go too much into detail about that, but there is kind of some little tiny spoilers that I'm going to mention. Nothing too crazy though, so don't worry. But if you don't want to listen, you can skip ahead or again skip the episode. But basically, they were talking about how this house is going to be very experimental. They're very excited about this one because of how experimental it is. It's going to be all about how guests are going to react the very first night of the event because they have no idea how it's going to go because they need the guests to be in there. And as you had guessed before, James,
Hit me.
They are going to try to get guests to be quiet. I do not know how that's going to work, but the idea is to try to get guests to be quiet. And if somebody makes a noise, that's when they're going to come after you.
Woo!
But I just can't see that working. I don't know how they're going to do that. But he did mention in the podcast how, how there's like employees that stand in the houses that kind of guide you and tell you to keep moving.
Yeah.
He mentioned that they're going to have them shushing you to try to keep you quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that kind of take you?
Like that.
Yeah, wouldn't that kind of take you out of it?
I don't like it.
Right? Wouldn't that take you out of it a little bit? Well, what if they were in costume? What if they had some kind of getup where it kind of fit?
They better look real scared, but man, I'm just gonna say if they're on their lunch break or the smoke break and they're just like shooing you along, like hush up, be quiet,
yeah.
Shush.
In this case, I feel like we're gonna be back at elementary school, like in a line with our fingers over,
yeah,
our fingers over our mouth and our hands behind our back, and we're just
the finger in the air or whatever, the hand behind the back. I don't know how the hush up.
Yeah, we're gonna be back in first grade, man. Just like walking through this house with our finger over our lips.
Ay. I don't know. That doesn't sound too promising, but man, I was on board until I heard that. Oof. I don't want to get the finger wag. No. Get out of here.
I think the idea is to try to get people to be quiet because it's almost impossible because there's going to be people that have been drinking that are going to just be acting silly, or there's going to be teenagers in a whole group just trying to.
If they think people aren't gonna know to be quiet in there, do the Chucky deal. Do a little refresher before that's like adamantly silence. Don't make a sound. It's like the Joel thing from Last of Us. Dead. What did he say? He said not quiet, silent. Like he was always silent, not a sound, not a pin drop. I don't need these teachers telling me that. Just do a refresher before so that you can keep the immersion intact.
Yeah, have some kind of
the bubble.
Have some kind of video playing just like Chucky. I do agree with you that could work. Ugh. But he also mentioned how it's almost like it's a setup for failure because the idea with the house is you want people to scream, so there's constantly going to be people screaming.
Here's what I get out of the challenge. They want you to not make a loud sound. They want to jump scare you, but to where you pucker. They want that pucker scare. They want you to jump, like react, but like contained. Mm-hmm. They want to hit you hard, and I think they're going to do like, they have like audience readers, like applause readers. And if you've seen Silent Library, I called it from before, the Silent Library rules. Mm-hmm. They have ways to pick up on your sound, and it's probably gonna be like Men in Black in the end. They're gonna reward you with points, but with decibels this time. I don't know. Let's see if they change it out throughout the event. You think they could change it if something's they're gonna.
Well, he said that that it would more than likely be tweaked as the event goes on because of that reason. So it could be a totally different ball game later in the event. He did mention that they are going to be having the sound deafening rooms, and that there is going to be sounds in the house, although they are going to make the house quiet. He described it as the score of the movie still has sound, but it's mostly like leaves rustling and like wind and stuff. And he mentioned in order to hear a lot of it, you're gonna have to be quiet. So if you're loud, you might not be able to hear the sounds of the house. So again,
I'm into it.
It's very experimental. It's something
Hey.
they've never done before. So it's cool stuff. That's Quiet Place.
I'm invested in this one because our predictions and corn, obviously corn is a priority. And I just saw with my whole family. I showed them Quiet Place 1 and 2, and I didn't know how it was gonna go because it's basically a silent movie. It's like dead silent. You have to wade into it, and it worked. The tension was there. We watched both of them back to back. It was crazy. John Krasinski is doing something, man. Ugh. And again with the Mary Poppins duality with Quiet Place, doing both things at once. The power. I love those guys.
All right, so moving on. Since we are going in order as if we're walking through the park, I want to mention there is a food booth now set up in this courtyard where
Quiet Place?
It is not Quiet Place. There. It is an Insidious food booth.
This is a roller coaster, dude, of emotions, of food motions. Insidious food. Devil's food cake.
You want to know what Brittany came up with?
Tell me.
Red Door s'mores. You know, the Red Doors sandwiched.
Red graham crackers?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Wow, that's cool. Dude, and that's easy. You can make a little red door.
Or how about
I like it.
How about a Further Burger?
Further Burger. Yeah.
Right? So there is a couple more food booths if you take a right where that little square park is. There's 2 other booths, one for Triplets of Terror and one for the 10th house that we won't talk about just yet. And
Triplets, Tres Leches.
And then if you take a left, again, still on the Park Square in New York, there is 2 Ghostbusters Frozen Empire food booths.
Oh, I got my favorite prediction in that case. That one, if they don't do the red velvet, sherbet and the black cone, like the horns, like you got the horn right here, stick it on your head, and you can be Big Icy. You make a killing in sales. I mean, 2 or 3 per.
Hey man, they've done crazier things.
How expensive are ice cream cones? Just make it black.
All right, let's backtrack. Go right to the Jimmy Fallon entrance, and that is going to be Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. We have talked about this house so very, very much throughout the season, all the way back to our very first episode of the season. So we won't talk a whole lot about that. I'll go ahead and read the description real quick. In this bone-chilling haunted house inspired by the film Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the Ghostbusters must team up to save the world from a second ice age. A new specter, Garaka, has escaped from an ancient artifact. He'll stop you cold with a whole army of ghosts. Try not to freeze in fear as you dodge spears of ice, and he freezes people solid before your eyes. So that is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Now, let's take a stroll next door. Now, this is going to be in between kind of that Ghostbusters firehouse facade and the tribute store. So we have Insidious, the Further coming to Halloween Horror Nights, and this is going to be a kind of mashup house of all the Insidious movies.
Insidious, the Further. Don't get trapped in the Further as terrifying demons try to ensnare you. The red-faced demon will lure you into his lair behind the red door so he can possess your living body, and Keyface will unlock your fears with his key-tipped fingers to keep your soul trapped in the Further forever.
I do believe this is going to be the scariest house this year. The most jump scares, or at least one of the 2 scariest houses this year. It speaks for itself. Insidious, I think, is a great property. It's been at the event a couple times. We've seen it in the Blumhouse house at HHN33. I'm excited to see a full-on house with this in a soundstage.
I do have a question. His key face, but it's his fingers, right? His fingernails are keys. What is his face keys too? I didn't see his face.
I think he has a keyhole in his face.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's how he picks his nose.
Yeah, with the keys. Anyway, so this is the house location that usually has that hallway with the banners. If you've been to Horror Nights before.
Yes.
So that's where this one is supposedly. So guaranteed, as we walk down that hall, there is going to be tiptoe through the window.
You reckon?
Guaranteed that's what's going to happen. I'm going to call it right now.
You want to bet $1 or $5? How confident are you?
Blinky cup drink.
Let's make it interesting.
Oh, yeah? Blinky cup drink.
Cup included?
No.
Just
a refill.
All right.
Next up, right beside that entrance, still in between the firehouse and where the tribute store is, we have the Triplets of Terror, again with the threes. It fits.
Nice.
So you're invited to the Barmy Triplets birthday bash, but beware, they celebrate by recreating their family's murders. Prepare for a gory gathering. So some information that Legacy has put out about this house is that it is going to take place in the UK.
Wait a minute.
So these hillbilly-looking characters that are in the artwork are going to be from the UK. They're going to be Brits.
What? Don't do that.
I mean, they're
don't do that. We have all these tropes. We have all these horror movies that are already crosses over. It's like the Stranger Things of slasher.
Hey, it could still be surprising. So also, it was said that it's going to take place in an entire town that these triplets live in. Now, here's the thing. It says they celebrate by recreating their family's murders. Did somebody else murder their family and they're recreating those murders? Or did they murder their family and they just recreate that every year for their birthday?
I don't think so. I think they had to be snapped crazy at some point, and then this is where they broke off. This is where they've been left, and they seek that.
That does make the most sense, and it's more than likely going to happen when they were little kids at a birthday party, right? So I think we are going to see a birthday party scene, with some kids. And are we going to see it twice? Are they going to recreate that again? You know?
Yeah, and how happy does it start? How innocent are we going from, to destroy? I don't know. That's going to be interesting. That's cool.
Yeah. All right, so that is Triplets of Terror. And I think this is a great spot to do the intermission, the first song. We are pretty far into this recording. So, yes. So both of these songs are rock, but this first one is kind of more leaning toward the metal side. So if you're not into like heavy metal stuff, or you're just not into, rock music or whatever, don't want to hear this, just skip forward. It's only like 2.5 minutes long. But
if you're scared,
yeah, don't be scared though. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool song. Again, this was back in May when I did this. So I typed in all the houses, which weren't all fully announced, by the way, but they are all correct in the song. So I hope you guys like it. I think it's cool. This first song is called Horror Nights of Terror. Enjoy.
Goblins Feast sings a nightmare of horror beyond our wildest place you shouldn't meet. Ghostbusters, frozen empire, insidious whispers call. A quiet place of terror as we stumble and fall. Above all icons, fear reigns supreme. In the blink of an eye, we're consumed by fright. The monsters of Latin America are lurking in the night. Universal monsters, a chilling sight to see. This is Halloween Horror Nights, where we're all set free. of an eye were consumed by fright. The monsters of Latin America lurking in the night. Universal monsters, a chilling sight to see. This is Halloween Horror Nights, where we're all set free. In the blink of an eye, we're consumed by fright. The monsters of Latin America lurking in the night. Universal monsters, a chilling sight to see. This is Halloween Horror Nights, where we're all set free. Ooh.
Yeah. My favorite part is above all icons, fear reigns supreme.
It goes hard.
It's just super cool that was able to be, created, and it's a pretty rockin' tune.
No question.
I hope you guys enjoyed, and let's keep going with this. All right, so now we're going to talk about the next zone. So this is Sinister Zone, located in New York. This is where Vamp 69 was last year. So it has a lot to live up to. So remember, you get to choose your path in Duality of Fear. So this is where you would go straight through Minions Land all the way to New York. And this one is called Torture Fair.
All right.
Come one, come all to Sinister's Renaissance Fair with the devious theme of medieval torture. Brave the glorious, gory, homemade torture devices till you're put out of your misery. It's a Renaissance fair.
Oh, really?
Gory Renaissance fair.
Never been. My brother has, and my sister.
I've never been either. I've never experienced what they're like. So this is the biggest zone at the event, and a lot of props have gone up already. But of course, the main thing is the giant stage that they built that has thrones on it, where the king and the queen of the Renaissance fair will be. And one of them, I'm assuming the queen, is going to be Sinister. And
we're going full Game of Thrones LARPing edition, huh?
Yeah. And you could tell there is covered dead bodies on this stage already. So
heads will roll.
They tarped them. They LARPed them. Again, all we know about these zones is just in the descriptions, and we know they're connected to this year's icon. I'm really looking forward to this one, man. It sounds fun. This zone is always the kind of the chaotic one, where there's a lot going on. So I have no doubt it'll be a good time. But just picture
definitely.
The whole like medieval soundtrack or like the Renaissance fair type soundtrack going on. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Definitely not a Knight's Tale soundtrack, right? Rock and roll.
No, probably not. I'm not seeing it in that way.
We came full circle. Sorry, rock and roll went medieval, went back to rock.
Another thing I want to mention real quick is the actual tribute store. We do not know officially what it's going to be, but there has been some teases about it. And there's actually teases happening in the Mummy Ride gift shop. So
hey, I thought mum's the word, but mummy's the one spilling the beans.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So basically they're putting little newspaper clippings of the Museum of Antiquities. The tribute store will be sort of connected to the Mummy Ride, I guess. I don't know how that's going to work, but we also have a museum haunted house.
True.
So is it going to connect to that? Is the Museum of Antiquities, the entrance of the Mummy Ride, is that going to be connected to the house somehow? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but apparently
I hope so.
That's what this tribute store is going to be themed after, is a museum.
But yeah, take advantage of the theme already matching your thing. Like, yeah, it doesn't take too much tweaking. Take over that gift shop, whatever. And hopefully my Frankenstein board's still in there. I'm coming for you, Frankenstein board.
Now, in New York, there's that little alleyway that had the Last of Us food booths last time. Remember that?
Yeah, that was a cool... Are you talking about the
Fedra area?
Yeah, the pathway through the thing, or just the stand?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Okay, this year, it's going to be A Quiet Place.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a cool...
My first thought is, are they going to make us be quiet when we're ordering the food in there? Are they going to be like whispering to us?
Ooh, if the menu has sign directions, like, or just get the number 1, number 2.
Oh yeah,
Something simple.
like kind of like the sign language, but you're just using numbers to tell them.
Yeah, you better not
Oh
have change. You're gonna be jingling.
yeah, man.
I'm excited for that, dude. Oh man, how are they gonna play with it? And they better have corn. I'm gonna be mad. I'm so happy, excited until they say no corn. I'm gonna make noise. I'm gonna be loud in there.
Do it, man. Do it. All
They're
right.
gonna drag me off stage with a alien hand like the hooks in the old timey stage.
I'm trying not to speed through all this stuff, but we kind of have to because God, this episode is going to be so
Yeah.
long.
For sure.
So next up, we go to the San Francisco area, and we end up at the Fast and Furious ride, where this year it is Major Sweets Candy Factory, a kind of prequel house to the zone that was in New York in HHN 31.
The Willy Wonka wannabe, Major Sweets Candy Factory. You've been invited to chaperone a field trip to a candy factory, but this sweet tour is about to turn sour when free samples transform the kids into candy-coated killers wielding sharpened candies.
What I'm kind of interested in is this year, the layout of the house is going to be different. We're not going to apparently be entering the house inside of the queue, because usually they have a little section of an indoor part of the house, and then you go outside and there's a tent portion, right? The word on the street is we're going to start in the tent and end up inside as the second half. At the UK media event, they did reveal the Candy Factory facade, and you can kind of see the smokestacks in the streets from like behind the walls. So I'm excited to see this facade. They also revealed one of the characters, an art, kind of like an art piece of what one of the characters is going to look like, and oh man, it looks gross, like candy warts and stuff. Ugh.
I have a concept, not a prediction, but hold on. I'm gonna swallow this candy. I'm eating candy. Hold on.
Of course you are. Perfect timing.
I know that's inappropriate. If there was any time though, you remember the Popeye actor out there? You had the thick arms, but it's like a rubber, almost prosthesis like layer over the arms,
Mm-hmm.
to make like that Popeye fat muscle.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that effect with like a layer over. Even the lizard in the Amazing Spider-Man had like a goopy hand. You could do that, but like with colors to be like a gooey gummy worm, like fused in, like melted arm. I'm just thinking candy coated. I'm thinking how that would work, and I'm thinking if you put like a layer of globby flesh over the gloves, that would be unsettling. So
Yeah.
I don't know how they're gonna do it. It sounds like you've seen some concept art, but that's fun to play with if you're assigned to this this costuming.
Woo. Okay, so
Oh man,
real quick, I want to talk about. They did release a backstory podcast for this one as well. Again, this is kind of a prequel to the Zone, and it's
right.
Major Sweets took over, or he basically created this candy factory, and he wanted to take over the town and get revenge against the town, so basically kill the adults. Well, he used the children to do this, so he basically gave him his candy, which turned him into monsters. But this house is going to be a prequel to how all that happened, so it is the kids going on a field trip to the candy factory.
I got two things to say regarding this.
Mm-hmm.
One, I see this as like patient zero of these candy coated killers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the day one of this IP or whatever. Not IP. What do you call it?
Original.
Yeah. So there's that. I have that respectfully to say. Not that the next thing's disrespect, but I think it's going to take away from like the patient zero day one, of the candy plague. That's pretty cool. The other thing I have to say, I think I've seen this in Codename Kid Next Door.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was a dentist and he was crazy and he caused all of this stuff, and it was reminiscent of Willy Wonka at the time also. And then here's this doing kind of a similar thing, Major Sweets. If his backstory comes out that he was a dentist or his dad was a dentist,
No, his
you can't get away from it.
his family owned a movie theater. That was a thing.
Okay, so it is safe. They covered their
Yeah.
yeah.
So in this podcast, these kids are getting all pumped up for their field trip the night before, and apparently one of the kids tells them that Major Sweets killed their neighbor, right? That he apparently always sits outside for like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea at night, and he always gets his paper in the morning. He hadn't. Major Sweets had been seen paying him a visit beforehand, I believe. Don't quote me on that. It's been a while since I've heard it, but what I thought was hilarious was they were like, when we go on this field trip, we should take revenge for Major Sweets killing my neighbor. We should go and sneak into his factory and steal his candy as revenge. I was like, what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Good plan.
Yeah, great plan. You kids are gonna go sneak into the guy who killed your neighbor's factory and steal his candy as revenge. Oh, that's gonna end well, obviously.
You know, that's not too far off from Stranger Things, where they infiltrate the Russian whatever thing under the mall.
Uh-huh.
And it's like they went in knowing it's either bioweapons or they're armed to the teeth. It's one or the two. And they're still going to go in their little ice cream pajamas. They're breaking into like highly, with no plan, with no. That's like this. This is like very unfledged or whatever you call it. And it's not even an equal revenge. It's like he killed someone, so I'm going to take his candy.
Oh well,
and you're risking your life.
Well, it doesn't go well. Just know that it doesn't go well.
Oh no, of course.
If you listen to the podcast, it's great. It's.
Should we feel bad about this kid?
No, and these are like 3 kids. They get to the factory. They sneak away from their teacher. Things go bad, of course, and we're introduced to this. We could call him an Igor type character of Major Sweets, where it's just this grotesque, gross dude that they end up meeting, and there's some brutality that happens. The descriptions that they did in this podcast, I was like, whoa, these
dude, and it's happening to kids.
Yeah.
Whew.
Well,
maybe Halloween is back.
Well, the kids are doing it to the adults. Like their teacher is straight up brutally killed in front of them. And
wait, by Major Sweets?
I'm not going to give away the podcast. I don't know if this stuff we're going to see in the house or if this is just the backstory for the house. I don't know. So I'm not going to.
Because I will say it if it's something happening to the kids. I'm not. Look, it's just when you push boundaries. You know, some people that push boundaries expect like, oh, there's a safety gate that will stop me from going too far. No. There's boundaries for a reason because there's not always a person to catch you when you fall. And I like when they learn that. So I hope they're going to be like, wait, where's the teachers now that I need them?
Oh, God.
I want some retribution to some punks. Let's see what happens. I don't know what the backstory is exactly. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. So I'm really hoping that they do something good here because this location doesn't have a good track record for the most part. So hopefully this being an original, they were able to do what they wanted to do with it. Again, the layout's changing, so maybe they're changing it for a good reason to make the best of it. We're going to find out, and we're going to find out very, very shortly. All right, here's something that's very cool that I am excited about, man. Across the street from the Fast and the Furious area, there's that burger place, Richter Burger. It's like that earthquake themed place. Well,
yeah, is it something with Jaws or something?
In that building right next door is a candy shop. They're theming it to Major Sweets. It's the Major Sweets candy shop. So they're gonna.
It already has candy in there, dude.
But there is more than likely going to be themed treats in there for Halloween Horror Nights. So right after you pass the candy factory is the San Francisco Scare Zone, and that was the last one announced. That was the one that was leaked twice. Are you ready for it, James?
Let's do this.
Our only IP zone this year.
What do we got? Let's go.
Which, to be fair, they haven't had one since 30. We are going to enter the Blumhouse.
Oh.
Escape a terrifying gauntlet of Blumhouse characters. From Sinister, Sadist, from The Purge, and Black Phone, to Megan dancing in your nightmares. You've never known horror like this.
Megan. Wait. Oh. They put her in a box, didn't they? She's only going to live in the little Blumhouse zone.
Yeah, probably. But as I suspected, this is gonna have the purge, and I bet you it's gonna be the most dominant part of this zone.
Perfect. Perfect.
There was speculation that they were gonna remove the purge from this zone because of recent events that had happened in our country that we're not go into detail. But apparently it's not. They have it in the description. It's there. Purge is gonna be in the scare zone. Am I worried about the zone a little bit? Last time we had an IP zone here was Crypt TV, and that was not a good zone. I don't know if that was just COVID related, COVID restrictions, but I really hope this is not a showcase, I guess, of just Blumhouse movies. And
Right.
I obviously hope there's going to be more than they described in the description. I hope there's going to be some surprises. I think there's plenty of stuff to work with. Some Bagul. Will we see
Yeah.
Will we see the Exorcist girls? Your favorite, because that's Blumhouse.
I don't know about them, but Gabagool, I'm down. I hope they make a food. I will take the Gabagool.
But yeah, this was the craziness of all that leak where they literally built a giant BH with a house logo at the entrance of this zone and then pretended like
when-
it wasn't there.
When is Happy Death Day 3 happening? Happy Death Day 2 Tree.
I don't know,
Tree
man.
the girl. It needs to happen. It's overdue. And maybe Freaky too. Freakier.
So we're gonna go past this zone. We'll end up in London, Harry Potter area, which, of course, the Death Eaters are coming back this year. No brainer. We don't have to go into detail about that.
Nice.
They will be there this year. Now, we are to the former Fear Factor Stadium. I have something to say, James.
Is it about the pet show?
And I think you're going to be surprised by what I'm about to say. I am actually looking forward to Halloween Nightmare Fuel this year.
I knew it was gonna be something like this. You're excited?
Well, let me show you why.
I won't step on your
Hold on.
enthusiasm.
Hold on.
You can have it. I'm holding
Don't
tight.
don't say anything until you know what's happening.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
This year, we are going to be watching Nightmare Fuel Nocturnal Circus. Step right up to a dark circus, a new nightmare that carries with it a sinister curse. They're sinister again. It's a thrilling spectacle of pyro and aerialist. So I have seen people post pictures of what they can see from the street, and that stage looks incredible. It is set up like a circus, and I love that they are theming this to a circus this year and changing it up. That is my problem. That was my problem with Nightmare Fuel. It was the same show for 3 years in a row, and I think they listened to people. I think they're changing it this year. It's going to be circus themed. What people are speculating is clowns. It's going to be hot clowns, I guess, this time around.
Going through the crowd, like in the middle of the aisles, clowns. Ew.
Yeah.
Hey, and circus, I'm down for that. I mean, circuses are kind of unpredictable. I mean, you go there. I mean, it's not too far off from a circus to begin with. If they make it more like authentic, kind of old style circus, I could be down with that. I think. I thought you were gonna say like they had a narrator this time or like an observer,
No,
like speaking.
no, it is looking like it's going to be a different show. But I swear to God, if that show starts off with a bed and a freaking clown going to sleep or whatever, oh my God, dude!
Only if they ignite the bed within the first 5 seconds. If they like combust it to death, maybe then put it to rest.
Like I said, I'm actually looking forward to seeing this show because it is going to be different. It's circus themed. I've seen the set, at least from afar. There's a picture of it, and it looks like a weathered circus, and it looks great. I'm stoked.
Yeah. I approve of the reframing. That's a cool. I mean, it gives me hope. I am cautious, but it's something different. That's already a lot more than we could have hoped for in the past 2-3 years.
Yeah, 3 years,
dude. Okay, man. Finally, something.
And there you go. And you see, you're already gonna crap on it.
No,
before you even knew.
I was crapping on it without crapping on it. Okay, I was gonna you like that? Okay, like I was gonna let you have it. I'm not gonna take it away from you, like shake it up. Like, okay, you like that? Cool, I guess. So yeah, go for it. But hey, I'm getting hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic here.
Same, man.
You got me turned neutral at least.
Have you noticed they're throwing the word sinister into these descriptions? They did it in Blumhouse.
Yeah, they keep doing it. Is it cute? I don't think it's cute. Quit it.
But is sinister related to them? Are they going to be connected? You know?
No, they're just being cute. They're trying to. It's like this guy, this head of this team, this house. He's besties with this head of the house, and they're touching.
But listen,
pinkies, standing.
Oddfellow was somewhat connected to everything last year. What if they're still trying to do that?
Stop while you're ahead with the 3 connecting houses.
Yeah.
You know, you got a lot on your plate already.
Scare zone, you mean? Scare zones. 3 scare zones.
Yeah. Just contain the stuff. If you're going all out like Oddfellow, do it, but don't half-ass it. That's what I'm gonna say. Like, with no malice, nothing against anyone, but like, keep your eggs where you can see them in the basket. Like, prioritize.
All right. Any last thoughts on that?
I don't know. Circuses. Keep the elephants at home. That's what I'll say. I got a dirty look from an elephant once, and I still crap my pants thinking about it.
The elephant's going to be the one that gets in the bed and winds the clock.
Oh, dude. If I wake up and there's an elephant in my bed, I'm going back to sleep.
It's going to be just the head like the Godfather.
Ah! Elephant head. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
All right. Let's move on. Oh, crap. Do you know what I just remembered? We didn't do the Peacock Bar over there in San Francisco by the Blumhouse zone. So, honestly, there's not a whole lot to talk about with the Peacock Bar, but let's backtrack over there real quick. So, behind the Lombard's seafood restaurant is or was a bar themed to Peacock last year, the streaming service, and they had David S. Pumpkins from Saturday Night Live there randomly greeting people, messing with people all night. There is no confirmation that he's coming back or even the Peacock IP is coming back, but the bar is being set up as we speak. There just isn't no
word from his agents.
No word from his agents, man. There is a bar going up there again, so we can only assume the Peacock Bar is coming back.
Hey, you know who they need is the cowbell guy.
Like Christopher Walken?
Yeah, him or Will Ferrell. I mean, with the muffin top.
Oh, man, that'd be hilarious, man.
You don't even need words. He just can thrust at you with the cowbell.
So right at the entrance to the Peacock Bar, right on the sidewalk, there's like a little mini stage that has been set up, and people are speculating that that's where the meet and greet's going to be, like for whoever's going to be there, i.e. David S. Pumpkins. I think people kind of started a rumor, or I think it was just like hope that like there'd be like a Bill and Ted meet and greet.
Dang, that would be so excellent.
I think what started it was the actor who played Ted in the show tweeted that, "Oh, we're coming soon."
What the heck?
Or something. Like he teases a lot of stuff. He plays too much.
You know what they should do is what I suggested last year, and they can take credit. I don't care. Have a little puppet bartender, Chucky. That'd be cool.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that.
Hit me.
We're going to hold off on that discussion just for a little bit because there is a second bar that is popping up this year. And we're going to get around to that here in a sec. All right, so Peacock Bar, let's go ahead and move on back past the Fear Factor stage. And we're going to go to the last 4 houses, which are the tents. If you've been following along, you know that this year we got 2 brand new tent venues that are replacing the Parade Warehouse venues. So the Summer Parade has started. It's a brand new parade that I believe started last month. I think July 4th weekend it started. So they needed space to put all these floats, and that's what those warehouses were intended to. Just Horror Nights just always took them over. They were like, oh, there's a cool spot. They can't do that anymore, unfortunately. Maybe one day they'll come back. Anyway, we got these two new tents, and they're double the size of the old ones, if not more than double the size. They're huge from what you could see from aerial photos. I'm actually kind of excited to experience these brand new houses that are going into here, just to see what they could do in these new locations, because this is the replacement for these warehouses, and those warehouses had some good size sets. They were good size locations, so luckily these tents are taller, and maybe they could still fit some good size stuff in there.
Would you say
Um,
they have small shoes to fill because they're moving
they
down, right? There's some less room.
Are they though? They might be the same amount of space, just in a tent. We just can never tell because it's inside a building.
Hmm.
Because
If they Tetris it,
they don't use the entire warehouse. They only use like a small section of it.
that's true.
So in between the old Fear Factor Stadium, where Halloween Nightmare Fuel happens, and the Men in Black ride, there is that gate that has normally housed one house entrance in the past. But what it's looking like this year is there will be two entrances side by side at that gate, and those will be the two brand new tent houses. So, in order to get to those tents, we do have to walk all the way around the Men in Black building. And once we get past the building, instead of taking the right to go to the old tents, we keep going straight, and that ends up at the new tents. And the first tent is Goblins Feast.
Goblins Feast. Visit a goblin village where hordes of bloodthirsty goblins, orcs, hobgoblins, and witches would love to have you for dinner, in a manner of speaking.
Yeah, Goblins Feast. This is another house that has a podcast, kind of a backstory podcast for it. And this is the one that I least cared about as far as the podcast went. It just wasn't entertaining to me. And there is this kind of fantasy feel to this house. I don't know if they're trying to go in the direction of Dueling Dragons from last year, or if this is going to be an actual like gory, freaky goblin house. It's hard to tell what they're going to do. I don't know. What do you think about this?
I'm surprised there's any backstory. Is this established anywhere, or is this after the fact? Trying to cement it into the lore? Because if they're tacking it on, you could use a little bit of rubber cement.
Do you mean established? Like, has it already been in the lore of the event, or what? Like, what do you mean?
I guess I could ask that. I'm just wondering if this backstory is out of the air or it's from some kind of history that I'm not aware of.
I don't believe it's from anything previous. I think this is just out of the air, brand new, original
That's kind of what I
concept.
thought. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think it's connected to anything, kind of like Dueling Dragons was. I think it's its own thing. So I don't know what to think of this house. This is the one. This is one of the very few houses that I'm like, it's kind of unknown. But then again, last year, Darkest Deal, like there wasn't a whole lot of known at the time, pre-event.
I think it's interesting they're focusing on the goblins of the crowd because you got also hobgoblins, which are bulkier goblins, and orcs, which
Orcs
are
are
like crazy beasts,
aren't
strong.
aren't orcs the bulkier ones?
Well, I'm saying compared to goblins, goblins are. I'm saying to focus on goblins, like the springing, unpredictable ones, the little nasty with the slobber, and they're just grimy.
Yeah.
That's a cool one to focus on because it's chaos, all over the place. I mean, they're not the most formidable, but you don't know if they're gonna hit you from this way, that way, or spit on you or run away. You don't know. So that's cool to put them in the front of the picture.
How do you feel about this concept though? Like do you think it's gonna be like Halloween vibes? Do you think it's gonna aim more to the fantasy, like Dungeons and Dragons angle? Like what?
Well, the way they word it, it sounds like they're trying their best to dress real proper. It's like they're making a good impression for their stepson or something. These goblins, they dress up for the first time and they're inviting you in. We would like to have you for dinner, and then they're gonna subject themselves to expectations. But why are they presenting it like they would like to have you for dinner like they're vampires? Like these are don't they live in a hole? They're grimy. This is like you stepped in on a cave of bears, but worse. I don't know Like, if they're welcoming me in, beckoning me, I'm not taking a step. Like, they better plead their case pretty good, present themselves. I don't know what to expect. It's worded weird. I mean, I could think Renaissance vibes like you're saying, but I don't know what their move is going to be. What's their strategy to beckon in their prey? Like, I don't want to go in there.
All right. I think we're good to move on to the other brand new tent, and that is the 10th house that we have yet to talk about on this podcast. You ready, James?
Is this the new one? I haven't
Mm-hmm.
heard this.
Correct.
Okay.
James is in the dark on this one. He's about to find out what the 10th house is. You may already
Number
know
10.
it. And the 10th house is Universal Monsters Eternal Bloodlines.
Oh, my monsters. Oh, my monsters are back. Hi, my monsters. Oh, I missed them.
And guess what?
What? Wolfman?
More.
Creature?
It's an overall theme of this year for HHN33. There is more girl power. It is all female monsters, like
There
the
we go.
rumor was suggesting early on.
All right, they nailed it. Are they question? Oh, I guess I'll find out. Tell me.
All right.
Tell me.
So here we go. The Universal Monsters Eternal Bloodlines Haunted Houses will introduce guests to an all-new terrifying storyline as they find themselves in the center of the ultimate battle between two unexpected alliances of classic female Universal monsters. Fans will encounter Saskia Van Helsing, a new fearless huntress. She faces off with Dracula's daughter, Countess Maria, who arose from the dead to seek revenge for her father and destroy the Van Helsing bloodline. With the mission to kill, Dracula's daughter from 1936's Dracula's Daughter forms a deadly alliance with the she-wolf inspired by the 1946 film She-Wolf of London and Anck-su-namun from 1932's film The Mummy, only to be intercepted by Saskia, an unlikely ally, the Bride of Frankenstein. The terrifying adventure will take guests on a journey between the hunted and the hunters in a life and death battle with only one bloodline left to survive.
I'm excited for the She-Wolf and the Mummy. You know, that was my biggest takeaway with the Tom Cruise remake was the Mummy. I like her, and we got another creepy mummy lady. Cool.
There's definitely some homework to do because I haven't seen Dracula's Daughter or the She-Wolf of London. I believe I own them, but definitely movies to watch. I do own the original Dracula, Bride of Frankenstein, and I own the Mummy, the original Mummy for sure.
I like how they specified like Dracula's daughter from it has a history. It's not just we're not lazy saying Dracula's daughter.
Exactly.
Because I bet I bet they got crap for that, and they're saying no. Here's the source. And
yeah,
like,
exactly. Because I'm sure Dracula's Daughter is not as popular as the original Dracula. Like it's not like widely known.
Definitely a little generic, a little bit generic sounding. So
yeah.
I'm glad that they pointed that out. Like even for me,
it's only like it only came out like 4 or 5 years after the original Dracula. So it's interesting. I'm excited either way to check this out. What it sounds like and what people are assuming is that this is a continuation of the Bride of Frankenstein haunted house from HHN30. So it's like a continuing story with her. And I absolutely loved The Bride of Frankenstein Lives. It was one of those houses that I did over and over again because of HHN Light, and came back the next year and got to do it a little bit more. It was such a great house. The storytelling in there was just spot on. Like it was very easy to follow. Just a very cool story overall, with the Bride of Frankenstein using Dracula's wives, the blood of his wives, to revive Frankenstein. It was such a cool concept. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with this story. Are we going to see all these monsters battling each other, kind of like Legends Collide a couple years ago, where there was a bunch of different endings of who won? It doesn't seem like it's going to be that way.
There's a lot of bloodlines at play, generations of history, and if they're against each other, if it's every man, girl, woman for themselves, then there's a lot at stake here.
Gosh. Hey, that
I hope it's a team up.
That pun is not original because Epic Universe, the Dark Universe land that they announced.
Yeah, what they copy me?
They're gonna have a steakhouse.
Oh,
Yeah.
Extra rare.
And all the servers there are vampire familiars.
Oh, nice.
They're
That's
gonna
cool.
have steaks on steaks, like steak kebabs, but they're gonna be on steaks.
Ooh, that sounds high end a little bit.
Might be.
Fancy.
hmm And while we're on that topic, there's also going to be a kind of like bar in the burning windmill of Frankenstein. Like it's actually going to be on fire, first of all. But in that bar, there's going to be monster hunters there, like interacting with you. So there's one restaurant or bar that has vampire or monster hunters, and another bar that has the vampires.
Cool. We
Yeah.
could be a double agent.
Anyway, back to HHN because there's so much to talk about on this episode. It's insane. Yeah, any other thoughts on this new Universal Monsters house? More female power, man. It's crazy how much female representation 33 has. I like it. I think it's kind of overdue.
Overdue, not overdone, definitely, right? Because I mean, I'm girl power all the way, but not if it's gonna be in your face like Marvel has done, or like they're playing like I'm just a girl behind Captain Marvel. It's like very on the nose. So like girl power, but make it normal. Don't be like this is a rare thing. Like all the power to the women.
There you go. Oh yeah, there's still a little bit more to talk about here from the press release. So something really cool that I'm a little jealous about. Two things I'm jealous about: the Hollywood version in California. Actually, there's a lot of stuff I'm jealous about Hollywood this year, and I'm never jealous about them. But their version of this house is going to be in the same soundstage that the original Dracula, the original Bride of Frankenstein, all those movies was filmed in.
Oh, that's nice.
That's where they're putting the house.
That's some respect.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's tight.
Dracula's daughter too, I believe. It's same soundstage.
I like it. That feels warm in me. That's appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah, it says it will reside in the legendary Soundstage 12 on the studio backlot, the original filming location for Universal horror movies such as Dracula, Frankenstein, and The Bride of Frankenstein, among other revered classics.
Oh, that's special. I like that.
So, a little jealous that's happening. Another thing I'm jealous about is, and this is nothing new, every year, all the Universal Monster houses in Hollywood are scored by Slash. And he
like
has...
the guitarist?
The guitarist, yeah.
No way.
And he has confirmed that he is doing this one as well, but only for Hollywood. I don't know what the deal is with that. But what's crazy is that this year he is releasing a limited edition vinyl of the score for the Universal Monsters house. And I'm hoping to get my hands on that no matter what, but I don't know. So they did announce who's scoring our version of it. It says at Universal Orlando Resort, Emmy-nominated composer Sarah Barone will create an original score for this all-new haunted house to elevate the experience for guests. She recently served as composer for BBC's Planet Earth 3, along with Hans Zimmer and Jacob Shea, and Amazon's Silver and the Book of Dreams. Barone currently participates in the Universal Composers Initiative, led by Studios Film Music Team and Universal Talent Development and Inclusion. This 2-year program provides composers with unparalleled access to the studio process, in addition to exclusive scoring opportunities such as this year's Halloween Horror Nights.
This is a cool project, this one.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
You can't go wrong with Universal Monsters. I say that every year. Every single house that I've seen, we missed the 2019 one, but every other one I think has been a banger. Like, it hasn't been a dud. So all those Universal Monster houses, besides the Bride of Frankenstein, were all in the parade warehouses. So it makes sense how they're putting it in this new replacement tent. So we'll see how it goes. I wonder what the setting is going to be. Like, is it going to be in the castle again? Like, what are we expecting there? No more comments on Universal Monsters? Can we move on?
I'm buying the shirt. I am high-fiving whoever is down.
If there is a shirt.
Yeah, well, there better be.
There is supposedly going to be a food tent. There's one we talked about over there in New York that people were saying is the Universal Monsters food tent. So we should be expecting some food from this one. Actually, a lot of the houses this year have food booths. It's crazy. I think all but one, unless it shows up somewhere else.
Yummy mummy. They got to sell a yummy mummy of some sort.
We shall see, man. But let's move on to the two original sprung tents, the OGs. The speculation is the two entrances are going to be where they used to be, in between the Men in Black bathrooms and the Coca-Cola building. And the first one that we'll talk about is Slaughter Sinema 2, the return of Slaughter Sinema.
Slaughter Sinema 2.
Woo-hoo! If you're dying for a B-movie horror marathon, head to the Cary Drive-In. Scream through scenes from creature features, grindhouse gore, spaghetti westerns, and more. This was a huge fan favorite for the HHN community. This was the very first thing that was announced for this year. It was announced at a panel at a local convention there in Orlando called Spooky Empire, and the video showed the crowd going nuts when they announced this, and it really shows how much of a fanfare this is. Back at HHN28, when the original one happened, we did this house a few times, and it was a lot of fun. I don't think I connected to it as much as the community did, but I still loved it nonetheless. I think it might have been in the middle of the pack for me, but it was still fun. I feel like I didn't have too many like great runs. That might have been the problem, but the concept was really cool, and I still have really great memories of that house. I'm looking forward to what this new one brings.
Can I say something controversial?
Okay, go on. Just beware that people will probably kill you.
It's not too bad this time.
Okay.
I think the concept is stronger than the house. At least it was. I think it gave a lot of opportunity for spin-offs, and it's like a dump
Which it did.
of ideas like that maybe get sidetracked and stuff, and here it is.
Right.
So I like it for that reason,
Mhm.
and I'm excited that it's getting another shot, and they're gonna like strengthen what worked, and then also it's an opportunity for spin-offs again. So, but that being said, last year it was good. It was fun. The concept was stronger than its performance, and I'm not saying anything about this year. I think they've learned a lot, and they're coming back stronger. I got high hopes.
So it was confirmed that all the stories in these houses are unproduced ideas that the
Yes,
the
I called it.
HHN community has.
That only makes sense. That that's what this would be. It's perfect. It's the perfect.
Yeah, because they're all B horror movies. So if they're like the bad or the sort of bad or like the cheesier ideas put to the side, they shove it into this.
Cutting room floor. I love it.
And yeah, it has spawned the Yeti sequels, the Yeti franchises. So, and I have a feeling we're going to be seeing the Yeti somewhere in here. I mean, it's only, I mean, even if it's just like an Easter egg or like one scare actor in there, I feel like
for sure
it would make sense for them to put the Yeti back in there.
Totes my goats.
So, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, we're not going to go into any like hardcore spoilers of this house because of that article that was released. But I do want to mention a couple of just minor spoilers, or what will be considered maybe minor spoilers. So if you feel like you don't want any of this, skip forward. There was that UK media press event where they did release some promo art. The artwork that they released had the poster art for that one movie that they released at Spooky Empire called Heavy Metal Hell 3D, as well as the character that they had already previously shown at the panel. But right beside that, they also put a second movie poster for the second movie, or for a second movie that's going to be in the house. And I don't know if I should say it. Should I say that one?
Well, whoever doesn't want to get spoiled has already left, so I don't see why not.
And like I said, the article showed every single movie title that's going to be in that house, and we're not gonna do that. But I feel like this media event, I think we could go ahead and discuss that.
Yeah. And that first thing you're referring to is Deddy, right? The Mohawk guy.
Yes, which a lot of people are speculating that is the reason why we have a lot of punk merch.
It's on him, yeah.
Yeah.
And my theory, Vecna turned into spaghetti. This is Eddie. He melted. He was in the upside down, whatever, and he melted into this thing. That's my theory.
So the second movie poster that we got is Mardi Gras Murders, and it is just straight up 80s horror slasher vibes, and I love it.
All right. Ah.
The tagline on the poster says "Party till you drop," but what is really interesting and what caught a lot of people's eye is at the very, very bottom of the Mardi Gras poster, it says "Experience it in Horror Vision 3D." So not only do we have the title Heavy Metal Hell 3D, at the very bottom of Mardi Gras Murders, it says "Experience it in Horror Vision 3D."
Oh, weird. I wonder if
Uh,
everything's going to be outlined with red and blue, but offset.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the rumor going around right now. It's not 100%, but apparently people have been told that from the Unmasking the Horror tours, because those have started already. Again, minor spoiler that of course Heavy Metal 3D is going to be a 3D story, so that part is going to be a 3D house. However, the word is that Horror Nights will not be providing any kind of glasses. If you want, it is optional to bring glasses that people already own
Huh.
and wear it during the segment.
Like classic red and blue 3D, that'd be cool.
What they are saying is it's chroma depth. It's not the classic red and blue. I think that's the more white 3D glasses. I think. Let me look that up. Everybody's saying chroma depth 3D. Let me look up what that is. Maybe that is the red and blue. No, chroma depth is the clear 3D glasses.
Weird. That's not the one that splits up the light spectrum into like rainbow.
Yes, that
It is
is
that?
it. Mm-hmm. That's the one.
Oh, well, that's not really 3D. That's interesting though.
So I have been into one 3D haunted
Huh.
house, and it wasn't at Horror Nights. It was at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. It was a clown 3D house, and it was awful. I hated wearing those things, walking through a haunted house. It just
I know what you're
didn't
talking about.
it just didn't work. And in previous years at Horror Nights, the 3D houses that they've had have not gone over well. Like, I don't think there's one single house that has got great reviews with 3D. And these are like full on 3D houses that they were giving 3D glasses to people. With that said, I really hope this whole house isn't required to have glasses, or it's not all a 3D house. I do think it's cool if it's true that they're allowing the option, like it's like just an optional thing where you could put the glasses on and it'll still work. But I hope that it's still, you could still enjoy it without the glasses, because I feel like it would hurt the house if it was a 3D house. But if it was, I feel like it would be called Slaughter Cinema 2 3D or whatever, but it's not. So
Maybe that's next year. Slaughter Cinema 3D.
yeah.
You know, we got two now. The threequel is the one where they're gonna.
I feel like they would wait a few years, like they did, because it's been since 28.
Well, if they want to set it up, this is the time to experiment with that 3D house. Roll out the red and blue carpet.
Hey, there's that
3D.
3 again, by the way, though. 3D.
Yeah, so many threes. It's like a popcorn house, like a popcorn movie.
Mhm.
This is something you're gonna go through and enjoy snippets real quick. They got to act quick. You know, each thing has to do their thing and move on, and it's the next thing. So it's gonna be an expedient house. I hope they do it right. You know, I mean, they got their second chance here. I think they're gonna kill it. I think they're gonna do it real good. Gonna murder it.
Nice. That was good. That was a good one.
Thanks.
I think I might be more excited for this house than the original Slaughter Cinema. Seeing that Mardi Gras poster really got me excited. I'm a huge fan of 80s horror movies, especially 80s horror slashers. Man, that looks great. I mean, that looks like it could have been a legitimate cheeseball, like B movie slasher back in the day. I love 80s horror movies so much that a couple weeks ago, I literally found out about this limited edition Blu-ray. There was only 1,500 made, where it's literally 7 hours of 80s horror movie trailers. And
Just trailers.
just the trailers, but it's all taken from the original reels. So
Oh, no way.
so you get to watch the original trailers, like with all the scratches, how you would see them in a theater.
Ooh, it's salvaged. I like
Yeah,
that.
they scanned all the old reels and saved them.
Man, I can't even imagine that process. I just did a whole VHS deal like that. Imagine the ancient reel to reels. How heartbreaking when it rips. You're like,
yeah,
you gotta stitch it, tape it all meticulous, and then the next little frame. Uh, restoration. It's crazy. It's scary.
over 250 80s movies or 80s horror movie trailers for 7 hours long. Only 1,500 of these things made. I had to have it, and of course, it was out of print. It's almost 10 years old at this point, so I bought it for freaking $90 on Amazon. That's how much I love 80s horror movies. I spent that much on that. I also put a big chunk of money to be an associate producer on an 80s horror documentary called In Search of Darkness. Like, I literally have an IMDb credit for In Search of Darkness Part 2, which is like a 4 or 5 hour.
Yeah, you produced 2 of them, right? Or technically you're a producer.
I also did In Search of Tomorrow, which is 80s sci-fi movies.
Nice.
So I'm a big 80s guy. I absolutely love them. I love the cheesiness of it sometimes, and just kind of the lower budget type stuff I've always been, attached to.
Hey, but you're on the docket, man. You got that IMDb. You ready to beef it up? Let's put out some films.
But anyway, my whole point was that Slaughter Sinema 2, like all these B movies, it just screams to me, 80s horror, and I love that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, it's history. That's where we come from. That's why we're here, is because of those movies that paved the way. Let's celebrate them.
Oh, and one more thing for this is, again, minor spoiler for the outdoor facade. The facade is going to be an exact replica of the very first house, because we are returning to the Cary Drive-In, except the Drive-In is showing new movies this time. Kind of cool. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the final house to talk about. This is Sprung Tent 2, second of the OGs, and this is the museum.
Deadly exhibits.
Yeah. The museum deadly exhibits.
Usually it's dead exhibits. All the exhibits are dead. They're old and dusty. Not this time. What would be a deadly museum exhibit? Like a loose halberd, right? Like swords that are not hung up right and they're going to fall on you. That's a deadly exhibit. This heavy thing is about to tilt. Eek. Deadly. The museum. Deadly exhibits. You decide to visit the new folklore museum exhibit, the Rotting Stone, when an evil escapes from within, destroying everything in its path.
All right, so this one has the potential to be another one of the scarier houses this year. A lot is not known about it. Well, as far as people that haven't been taking the tours, because this is one of the ones on the tour. But I've been avoiding that stuff. And this one definitely piques my interest just because of the concept. We're going to be in like a little small town museum. There's something up with this rotting stone. What is it? What kind of power does it have?
I got a theory. I was talking about deadly exhibits being too heavy or loose, falling on people. If the rotting stone is anything like that giant rock from Indiana Jones, there's your answer. It fell off. It's rolling. It's crushing you. You got to get out. That's what the rotting stone is. It's a deadly exhibit. You expect monsters. Nope. Big rock.
So there has been some people in the HHN community that have been coming up with theories that this could possibly be connected to the icons. This could be somewhat an icon house. What if the rotting stone has to do with sinister and surreal? It's a possibility. There's just not enough info to know for sure. It would be cool if this was connected, since Oddfellow had his own house last year. Would this be the house that's connected to them? I don't know.
What's the connection? Yeah.
The rotting stone is a mystery, man. It's a mystery.
Is the stone alive and it's rotting? Or does it cause things to rot? Or you touch it and you rot? We're gonna see. Rotting stone, yeah, that's a new detail. I haven't heard that one.
So from the concept art, there's like a poster that says opening soon, the Rotting Stone, fall 2024. So this is a brand new exhibit that's coming to the museum. And obviously when they bring it in, something definitely goes wrong. So I'm looking forward to finding out what that is, why it is, what it does, all that kind of stuff. So I'm pumped.
I'm ready for it.
Something interesting with the exits of this house. A lot of people were scared that we were going to have to be exiting all the way to the DreamWorks land or even all the way to ET, which would be a freaking nightmare if that was the case. I never thought they would make us do that because that is insanely far away. So what it looks like they're doing is, well, it's actually been confirmed by one of the tour guides, is they are building a brand new walkway. It's very short, but they're making a walkway that's going to dump people into the Simpsons courtyard right where all those games are, all the carnival games.
Mm-hmm.
That is where the tents are going to exit, or at least two of them will exit. And I do feel that is going to relieve a lot of the congestion that happens over there in the Men in Black courtyard. That place gets so jam-packed by those bathrooms. People like to just hang out there, and just all the people trying to get into the houses or go into Men in Black or go toward Nightmare Fuel or those other houses. So I think people exiting into the Simpsons is going to relieve a lot of that, because some people will just keep going straight away from Men in Black in the other direction.
Yeah, I guess it's a smart spillage output spot. Yeah.
Definitely a lot of new configuration with the entrances and exits because of these two new tent houses, but I think they got it figured out. The worst of the walk seemed to be the two new tents going around the Men in Black building. So
you've been prepping your feet.
I have, but I don't think it's going to be that bad compared to like what the parade warehouse walks used to be. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Either way, I'm bringing my Hokas, bringing those good shoes, man.
Hocus pocus for the win. Yeah, I'm monitoring my feet too. I've been skating a lot more, so I got some pretty foot flaps that I'm leaving alone so that they can like relayer underneath. I'm gonna tell you, I've grown up with some foot trauma, so I appreciate the blessing that our feet that work.
All right, so one thing before we continue through Simpsons is, if we were to go past the house entrances and take a right to go over the bridge to head back toward Harry Potter, when you go over that bridge, there is going to be a food tent right there, and that is going to be the Goblins Feast food tent. We're going to be getting some food options for the goblins.
We better. You got feast in the name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be upset if you don't deliver.
All right. Besides that, we'll go back and head through Simpsons, and on the other end of Simpsons, kind of around where Animal Actors is, there is a food truck that they have set up there for HHN. So no telling what that's going to be. We don't know if it's going to be themed to a house. Hopefully it's museum.
It's right next to the Animal Actors.
There's actually going to be two right next to Animal Actors, but
I hope no animal actors go missing, dude. Right next to the food booths.
But no, there's been a trailer here before. This is not a first time. So I'm kind of hoping this is going to be themed to the museum somehow, because that's kind of the only house I think that's not going to have a themed food tent unless one pops up last minute. But so yeah, there's a food tent there, but check this out. There is a walkway kind of in between. I don't know how to describe this. There's like a shortcut that goes kind of through the Animal Actors building, right? It used to be kind of a cool hangout spot with a bunch of tables to eat pizza fries and stuff like that. They have taken away the tables there, so it's no longer a chill spot to eat. They have put a food booth in there. Last year, it was just a bar. This year is a straight-up food booth, and it is the Cary Drive-In concession stand for Slaughter Sinema 2.
So we got hot dogs, popcorn, maybe funnel cake. Is that?
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Well, here's what they're going to do. They're going to do a funnel cake with weenies all up in it, all shoved into it.
Okay, interesting. I'm not off board yet.
Oh, you're not?
Funnel cake, hot dog? I'm listening. I'm glistening.
Yeah, they're going to mix it all together, put popcorn all over it, butter.
Not bad. So far, I'm intrigued.
I'm just coming up with the worst thing. Just trying to think of the Carnival dog, what they did to it. Every bad item is going to have
fake butter sauce.
Oh no.
Make it slippery.
But yeah, definitely some kind of concession stand themed food. I think they're going to elevate those items. I don't think it's just going to be straight up popcorn and hot dogs. I hope not. All right, man. we are going to the final scare zone in Central Park, the one with all the trees. And I'm excited to tell you about this one because I think it's a little funny. There's a little connection that I think you're gonna like, or an unofficial connection that I just think is kind of hilarious.
There's
I don't
a
know.
corn man.
Should I give you it to read or should I read it? How you want to do this?
I'll read it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll surprise myself.
I don't know. I might be overhyping it. I just think it's a little. I'm gonna see if you like catch on to the.
Don't tell me it's a corn maze.
No. I'm gonna see if you catch on to what I'm talking about.
All right. Swamp of the Undead. In backwaters, Louisiana, you're about to be swamped by zombies born from the bodies of trespassers killed and dumped in a nearby bog. Louisiana. Wait a minute.
No. What's nearby?
Nearby
This
bog?
this location. So
Swamp of the Undead in backwaters, Louisiana. Is this close? Oh, swamp.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, you got your Shrek zone.
You got Shrek zone.
It is obviously going to be just in Central Park because of all the sets that they're building. But man, how awesome would it be if they just extended it just a little bit around the corner to connect to Shrek's house, man, to the swamp.
What are you doing in the swamp? Dude,
I think it would have been funny, but the fact that you've been like a Shrek house, I want a Shrek house, and then look, we got a swamp scare zone by the Shrek house.
Oh my gosh. Is this as close as it gets, huh?
Yeah, I think this is the closest you're going to get to it, man.
Shrek house, Shrek zone. I am content.
But you know what's also funny is that the HHN community has been making a joke that this is the Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island scare zone.
Ooh, that fits too. Are they going to be around? They're around there.
Yeah, they're always hanging out in Hollywood, which is just down the street too. So,
how cool would it be to see them scared in some zones, like cowering? That'd be so fitting.
But man, I have been taking a peek at pictures of the sets being built for the scare zones.
I mean, if there's anywhere to take a peek, it's the swamp.
Oh, come on. Out of all the sets that they are building this year, this is the most detailed. And that's mostly because the parade doesn't go through here, so they're able to build as many sets as they possibly can. And they're always real good about building sets in the Central Park area, making it real pretty. Man, this is going to be heavily themed. Like at night, I guarantee you this will look just like a Louisiana swamp. It looks crazy, some of the stuff that they put in there. Like, I won't go into detail to spoil it for some people, but what I will say is they have placed lights at ground level. So what people are speculating is that the lights that they have at ground level, they're going to have some kind of lasers or fog that'll make it look swampy.
Nice. And I need to say this. There's a lot of love put into this logo. Like, it's just font really, but it's there. And look at the triplets logo. That was like,
again, I think that was just a last minute thing. I don't want to.
But if what you're saying, all the detail and stuff, this is a good omen right here.
Yeah, this is definitely something to look forward to. It's kind of cool. The only thing that I'm a little worried about is that it's zombies. Like, zombies are so basic and have been done before. Like, is making zombies in a swamp a cop-out? But at the same time, zombies covered in moss and like melting gooey algae covered monsters could be cool if they do it right, and could be nasty looking things.
Look, everyone knows we're tired of zombies. We've had the zombie fatigue before we had the superhero fatigue. It's old news.
Right.
Are we on the other end of it? Are they bringing it back? Because I don't remember the last time zombies explicitly were,
Well, we missed the whole Walking Dead craze. Walking Dead was at the event 5 years in a row. Like, they didn't take breaks. 5 years in a row there was Walking Dead. We missed that craze.
Well, maybe that's good for us because we're not going to be overdone here.
Right.
We're gonna get it fresh.
And a lot of the HHN community I've seen, or at least people on Twitter, have dubbed these zombies swamp bees.
All right. Swampies.
Swamp bees?
Swamp bees. Good for y'all. It's a great name.
That's what you get, man. All the freaking puns and jokes you make, that's what you get.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair. I can't. I'm not one to
They're hitting back at you.
swampies. I think you could do. No, all right, it's fine. It's good.
All right, let's move on. Only a couple more things to talk about, and that is the food booth that is literally at the entrance to this zone. This is where the Dia de los Muertos zone was the past couple years. This year it changed a little bit, but this is where the Monstros food booth is going to be. And they have labeled it El Mercado, which is market, I'm pretty sure in Spanish. And right below it, under El Mercado, written in blood, it says De los Monstros. El Mercado de los Monstros.
Well, that's
And-
nice. They started a little business.
And what's hilarious is the spelling of
hairnets.
monstros wasn't correct at first, and the community went wild and bullied the hell out of Universal and just bullied them so much that within a few days it was fixed. They added the U to monstros, so it has been fixed and repaired. I just thought it was funny that Universal just keeps on making mistakes, and the community keeps
Educating.
having laughs. I just love that there's so many food booths, man. I think the food stuff is growing and growing every year, so it's cool. All right, so right after that, right before we get to Hollywood, where Mel's Dine is, and the entrance to the Lagoon Show, which we're not getting this year for Horror Nights. Hopefully next year we'll have one. There's a little place called Battery Park with like an awning, and usually they have been putting a bar there. And last year they did have a food booth, and that's where we had the peanut butter burger.
Yes.
This year, there's something a little bit bigger going on here. It looks to be another themed bar similar to the Peacock Bar. They've kind of enclosed it to where there's one way in. You kind of order from the bar, and behind the bar is a sitting area with TVs and little platforms. So there's something going on here. Are they moving the Peacock Bar here and putting something else where Peacock was last year? Nobody knows, but there was casting calls, I believe, for character meet and greets. And people believe that this is where there's going to be some IP meet and greets. But this is where I wanted to talk about the Chucky thing. Chucky is heavily rumored to be at one of these bars.
Yeah, baby.
A puppet Chucky.
Woo!
Either the
Bartend.
Peacock location or this location.
Yeah, mic him up and put him behind the bar. That'll be fun for people. Entertaining. I mean, he doesn't have to necessarily pour no drinks, but he could just. I mean, you got the setup there. It's a puppet stage, basically, as a bar.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
But the rumor going around is that there's going to be a rotating character meet and greet
Cool.
happening.
I like that. Yeah.
We are going to be getting something new there, which is cool. And while we're on the topic of bars, today we got a little bit of info about the Red Coconut Club, which turns into the Dead Coconut Club for Horror Nights over there in City Walk. The theme of it changes every year, and they did put up their banner for the Dead Coconut Club today.
The theme or the name? It says Dead Coconut.
It
right?
still says Dead Coconut Club,
Cool.
but the theme is a little odd of a mix. But the theme is the vamps from like all the vamp zones and Blumhouse.
So just vampires in general, and then Blumhouse.
But like the Vamp 85, Vamp 69, whatever, like that franchise
Okay.
mixed in with Blumhouse somehow.
Hey, don't call it a crossover. They've been here for years. Emphasis on cross because the power of Christ compels you, and stakes. Interesting, I guess.
But yeah, back to inside the park. Yeah, I'm looking forward to what that bar is going to be. A lot of people were thinking it could be a weekend bar because that's where the weekend bar was a couple years ago. But I just don't see it coming to Orlando because Orlando did turn down the weekend for this year. However, over there in California, they are getting a weekend house. They are getting a second weekend house.
Hey, is it a 3-day weekend? Oh,
I think it's 3 albums.
hey, all right. We got 3 in the mix.
So that is kind of another thing I'm jealous about California. And then They're also getting a Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. It sounds really, really cool. It's going to be a legacy house that has every single Leatherface in it from all the movies, all the different iterations. And it just sounded wild. I believe they were talking about having live maggots in the house.
Oh, on purpose?
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't have it within the general public's hand reach. Probably be enclosed somehow, I would assume, for health reasons. But apparently they're going to have live maggots in the house. So,
yikes!
It's interesting. But
hey, maggots gotta eat.
But anyway,
that's I don't know about that one.
The last thing that I want to talk about for the event, or kind of, it's not really for the event, but the summer tribute store. So we've gone past Mel's Drive-In. We're in Hollywood again, and this is where the summer tribute store is.
Yeah, the video store.
So here's what was sent in an email a couple weeks ago. They said that the original plan was to close the summer tribute store, I believe on September 5th was the day. That is the day that we are showing up.
Oh, wait.
However,
are we...
and for one thing, I'm not sure if that means it's closed on that day, like it closes the day before, or if that's the last day. I have no idea. However, the email said that although they were planning on closing it that day, there is a chance they will extend it because it's so popular. That they would extend it into November, I think they were talking about. But it was up in the air, and I feel like it was up in the air because they probably have to get approval from all those IPs that they're using in there. So hey, I don't know.
If nothing else, have the leftovers like on a discount section in the new store, right? That'd be good.
Yeah, but to be able to see two tribute stores,
woo!
I mean, we've never had the chance to see a summer tribute store, so this one looks amazing. I want to see that video store. I want to be able to go in there.
Oh,
so we may
sniff everything.
We may have the chance, man. We may have the chance.
Oh man, I need it. I need to.
With that said, that is the event. We have gone through everything we possibly can talk about. I am extremely excited to head over there, dude. It's unreal. I think I'm way more excited for this year than I was last year. Like, I think my hype is way more this year. I think this year has the potential to beat 32. The potential's there. I'm not saying it will.
Definitely up in the ranks, yeah.
To me, last year, there was houses like Darkest Steel, Blood Moon that were just, like, unknown, that I wasn't like, whatever. When we got there, they were amazing. But as far as hype goes, I think I am more hyped for the lineup of the houses, the scare zones, the food. The overall, I think I'm way more hyped this year.
We still need a full food list, don't we?
We do. So the food menus should be dropping very, very soon because the event is very, very soon. So we may do a food episode talking about the food options. I'm not sure. We tried to do that last year. We recorded it. I didn't like the way it came out. I didn't know if it was going to be entertaining enough, so we never released it. That's the only episode we never released. We may try it again, see how it goes, but as of now, we are planning to do a hype list episode after this one, and then the next one will be the live episode. For the first time ever, we are heading to Universal for Horror Nights twice. We are going for 2 days on the first Wednesday and Thursday to be able to experience it early on and to be able to record the live episode. And then after that, we'll be heading back and then returning for our usual trip, which is the last week of Horror Nights. So we're kind of getting a double dipping situation this time, and I'm super stoked to be able to do this. It's going to be the first time it's going to be extremely hot, so be prepared for that, man. So because this is the first time that we are going to the event, that first week, I usually, because I can't wait till the last week of HHN, I always go and kind of spoil myself as far as people's thoughts on the houses, people's hype list. I love listening to podcasts and what people think of each house. This time, because we are going that week, once next Tuesday hits, I believe it is, which is employee preview. Yeah, 2 Tuesdays from now, which is August 27th. Once that day hits, I am staying completely off of social media to keep myself in the dark. I don't want to have any kind of other people's like opinions like influencing me with my hype list or what I think about each house. I want to go into this event completely blind, not knowing anything about the scare zones, because usually I'll watch videos or vlogs with the scare zones. I just won't spoil myself with the houses. So even the scare zones, I want to go just full force for the first time ever, not knowing a single thing. And
Welcome to my world.
I think it's gonna be really fun. Right now, it's actually a minefield because the Unmasking the Horror tours have started, and the museum, Slaughter Sinema 2, and Triplets of Terror are on that tour. So I have been going through just mines, just trying to not see, like completely block my view of what people are posting. It's been hard, but I've for the most part avoided seeing stuff. But like I said, very, very soon I am going to stay off of social media for a whole week, so I will not get spoiled of anything at the event. So it's going to be fun, man.
Godspeed. Yeah, that's the world I live in.
But imagine,
I'll-
man, for the
I'll
first
scooch
time,
over under the rock for you. You can.
for the first time, we're going to be going there, and we're both not going to know a single thing. We're just going to both walk in there and be completely surprised.
Hey, y'all say hi also if you see us. Like I'm down to
Dude,
say hi.
Good
And,
point. I was going to bring that up. So again, we're going to be there the 5th and the 6th. I believe it's a Wednesday and Thursday. It's the first Wednesday and Thursday of the event. We actually made some shirts to promote the podcast. We put a giant QR code on the back of our shirts to try to get the word out. You know, whether that be desperate, I don't care. I want to get the word out. But if you see two guys with giant QR codes on the back of their shirts, that's more than likely going to be us. So feel free to come say hi. I mean, we've never really had an experience yet where we've been recognized or like fans have come up and said anything. So feel free to come say hi. Hopefully, we won't be too awkward. We'll try not to be.
Yeah, last year's the first year we took some pics with people, but like it wasn't for our merit. But I mean, I'm down for pictures, whatever. I'll take a picture. I want pictures, honestly.
Yeah, man. And we will be recording our live episode, so maybe we could get a couple of like fan reviews of the event, like
Capture some thoughts,
extra thoughts for the episode. So just come say hi. We're gonna have stickers too, by the way. I forgot about that. We're gonna be passing out some stickers if you recognize us. So
yeah, I mean, you like freebies. Hey, another random call to action. I'm curious if y'all don't know what we look like. I would like to see, like, draw us what you think we look like. Like, draw what do you think these voices are coming out of. I'm curious. That would be fun.
So let's wind down this episode, and I want to wind it down by saying just a huge thank you to everybody that's joined in and listening to our podcast. It truly means the world to me, and I'm sure it means the world to you, James. We have gotten so many followers this season, and not just that, we have gotten so many followers since the last episode we put out. It's insane. Our last episode was the Insidious episode, and it skyrocketed to our number one most listened episode, and it kept going. It just keeps climbing, and it's unbelievable how many people are joining in on the podcast, and it just means the world. Because
my favorite part's the engagement. I love when people engage and like comment, or people are making bracelets.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like we've had so many comments about people, loving the podcast, like reaching out saying that they're enjoying the episode, or yeah, like you said, somebody made an HHN obsession bracelet, and it's great. It blows my mind that there's people listening to us dweebs talking about random nonsense. But I originally wanted to create this podcast because I love the event so much and just love talking about it that I wanted to create our own podcast. And the first year we did it, it was kind of late in the game. We kind of set it up last minute to where the event had already started, so we didn't do too many episodes that season. We did 5. The second season came around, we did 1, and I'm about to get deep here for a second, so bear with me here.
Got it.
We did the first episode of season 2, and then a big life event happened with me that really messed me up at the time, which it ended up being the greatest thing that happened to me because now I'm the happiest I've ever been. But at the time, it was very bad, and the podcast was in limbo. I didn't really want to do it, at that moment. There was a whole bunch of months where I didn't know if we were going to keep going with it. But right when the event was going to start, I decided, let's revive it. It needs to happen. I shouldn't let something bad bring it down. So again, the second season was a mess. We only did 5 episodes.
I remember I said I'm on board. Whatever you decide, bring it back or not. Like, I got you.
So what I'm trying to get at is this third season is the first time we've actually done an entire season of nonstop coverage of the Horror Night speculation, rumors, all that stuff. So the fact that so many people have joined on this season and we've getting so many positive reviews and just messages and bracelets and all this stuff, it's unbelievable to me. It's hard to process that. And again, it means the world that you guys are listening. I hope that you guys continue to listen, spread the word, just hang in there with us. It's really cool. Really, really cool.
Yeah, it makes it real. Every little snippet of engagement, it's like a flash of reassurance. It's like reaffirming, like, this is, people are responding. This is a real thing that's making an impact, and it matters. So,
but we promise we don't talk about this all the time. So all the new listeners, don't worry. We're not always getting all serious like this, but just thank you. And with that said, just like myself, Horror Nights is kind of this getaway for me and for a lot of people. It's something that we all look forward to every year. It's something that makes a lot of people happy. And when we're all in the fog, just having a blast, it's all just away from the real life that we have to put up with throughout the other parts of the year. So that's what I love about this event. It brings people together. It brings us away from real life, the horrible things that happen in real life.
Yeah, doing this thing is like a marathon. It's not a race. We're not in competition with the other podcasts. That we're in this together. We're obsessing together. It's like,
exactly.
That's what I like about marathons instead of races. There's a camaraderie with the guy next to you.
I do want to use all that to segue into the second song that we're going to end the podcast with. When I went into the app and put how I wanted the song to go, I did put in that Horror Nights was a place that people get to unwind and forget about real life scenarios. And the app took that and really put that into this second song. And that's one of the main reasons I really love this song. And it's such an anthem, man. It created a legitimate rock anthem. It sounds kind of more, at the very beginning, reminded me kind of like a Daughtry song in a way. The vocals sound like Daughtry a little bit. So this is more of rock versus the heavy metal one that we heard earlier. But I have kind of dubbed this the unofficial HHN33 anthem. We are going to close out with the lyric that is in this song. In the midst of the screams and the fright, we come together on this haunted night. Forget our worries, leave them behind. Halloween Horror Nights, a saving grace we find. Everybody, crank up those radios. If you're listening to this in the car, crank it up to 11. Hell, if you're on your way to Horror Nights right now, skip to this song. Skip to the song and blast it. While you're waiting in line to get into the parking lot, blare it. It's going to be the perfect hype song. I promise you. This is going to be the song to listen to on your way to Horror Nights. Come back to this episode, skip to it, and crank it up. It is an absolute jam.
It up to 33.
Everybody, have an amazing time at Horror Nights. We hope to see you all there. Let's all rejoice in that fog. Let's toast our blinky cups and let's have a freaking blast. HHN33 is here. Let's go.
Yeah, be excellent to each other. Let's do it.
Step into the darkness where the monsters reign. Haunted houses with names that strike fear and pain. Slaughter Sinema 2, Goblins Feast and more. Halloween horror nights, come and explore. Above all others, fear stands tall. A powerful presence commanding all. In the midst of the screams and the fright, we come together on this haunted night. Forget our worries, leave them behind. Halloween horror nights, a saving grace we find. Museum deadly exhibits, monstrous and more. Triplets of terror, surprises in store. Ghostbusters, a quiet place, insidious too. Universal monsters all waiting for you. Pizza fries, twisted taters, drinks with blinky cups. Feasting and drinking as fear builds up. In the midst of the screams and the fright, we come together on this haunted night. Forget our worries, leave them behind. Halloween horror nights, a saving grace we find. Like fire. Wasted taters, flesh wet blanket cups. Feasting and drinking as fear builds up. In the midst of the screams and the fright, we come together on this haunted night. Forget our worries, leave them behind. Halloween horror nights, a saving grace we find. In the midst of the screams and the fright, we come together on this haunted night. Forget our worries, leave them behind. Halloween horror nights, a saving grace we find.
Hey everyone, just wanted to give a quick shout out to my good friend Zach Weber, who provided our intro and outro song, Heebie Jeebies. You can listen to the full version of Heebie Jeebies on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, or anywhere where you listen to your favorite music. Thanks for listening.